Here in Oakland, rent prices have shot up nearly 20% in just the past 3 years. So there is a huge financial incentive for landlords to replace longtime tenants with new ones, willing to pay a lot more in rent. Now, some landlords are being accused of taking unusual and possibly even illegal steps to kick out renters. April Thomas and Ben Allen have lived in their Oakland home for 4 years.
Yeah, it'll be hard to leave.
They pay about $1,000 a month for their rent-controlled apartment, but their landlord wants them out.
Even for a smaller place than this would be at least twice what we're paying.
Landlords who own duplexes or triplexes in Oakland and actually live there are legally allowed to evict everyone else in the building for no reason. That's what Ben and April's landlord is trying to do, except the couple says there's one problem.
Our landlord doesn't live here. He's never lived here. He would have already needed to live here before he ever issued the notice. And he didn't even start trying to make the appearance of living here until at least a week later.
What makes you so convinced he's not living here?
We put up a surveillance camera.
The married, self-taught private eyes have recorded more than 3,000 hours over the past 4 months to see how often their landlord stays there.
We have continuous video footage that shows him coming by once or twice a week, staying for a few hours, and then leaving again.
The couple even keeps a running log of when the landlord is home and when he isn't.
And so how often is his driveway empty?
His driveway is empty almost all of the time.
You'll also notice that Donald Woodard's parking space is not occupied.
April and Ben started keeping tabs after receiving their eviction notice and say their landlord only came by the house 11 of the next 50 days. For the landlord to legally evict his renters without cause, that home must be his principal residence. But Oakland law doesn't actually define what that means.
I just don't think he spends enough time here to justify the claim of primary residency. If that's his primary residence, he has a really tough life. Because where is he the rest of the time?
To learn more, we set out on a stakeout.
We started today at 5 a.m. in front of the triplex.
Our investigative unit spotted the landlord, Donald Woodard Jr., here at this 3-bedroom home near the Oakland Hills, 3 days in a row.
We finally got a shot of the landlord coming out of his house.
Property records show Woodard owns this home with his wife. We found his truck parked here and even saw him wheeling garbage cans back to the house, a house he says he doesn't actually live in. He didn't respond to our interview request.
Mr. Woodard.
So we showed up at his triplex.
We're with the investigative unit.
Oh, yeah.
Nice to meet you. Good. How are you? Do you live here full time?
I'm here now. I'm here every day.
But is this your main home?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
If this is your main home, why are you taking out trash at another home that you own?
Taking out trash? Oh, because I actually own the home and I want to make sure that there's no trash there, right? So my main thing is that I just want to make sure that even all the properties I do own, I still live here. So I've been living here for like almost 4 months.
At first, he said he moved into the triplex because of marital problems.
Well, me and my wife are going through some things right now.
But on Facebook, his own wife recently described him as someone I live with and poked fun about who's washing the dishes at home. Woodard also told us he moved to be closer to his sick father.
Where I was living before, it's pretty far. I need to be closer to him.
But driving from the triplex to his father's home in Berkeley isn't that much closer. Compared to his other home, it's only about a 5-mile difference. Woodard's family issues may explain why he decided to move, but why is he evicting everyone else in his building?
Right now, I have no clue.
Was this actually where you were living full time when you gave them the eviction notice?
I believe I was, but at the end of the day, I can't even confirm anything right now.
We're in a housing crisis.
Aaron Bernstein is a supervising deputy city attorney in charge of Oakland's Civil Rights Division, which is now setting its sights on wrongful evictions.
Any neighborhood where you're seeing increasing property values, you're going to have a perverse incentive on behalf of landlords to try to scam the system.
While the abuse may be widespread, the city attorney's office has only ever sued one landlord for trying to get away with it.
Can you understand why some might not be so hopeful?
I think once they see the results in this case, they will maybe see where some of the hope comes from our office, and we'll be able to put a big dent in this behavior.
This is the apartment upstairs that our landlord is, pretending to live in.
April and Ben eventually hinted to their landlord they have evidence proving he doesn't live here. They say soon after, the landlord started spending a lot more time at the triplex, coming by just about every day. He also served the renters a brand new eviction notice.
Do you think the city is doing enough to keep watch over this?
They're not really doing anything at all.
April and Ben could be kicked out of their home any day now. Their neighbors, a family of 4, are being evicted too. April works at a nonprofit. Ben is in grad school. If evicted, they say they probably won't be able to stay in the Bay Area.
We don't really have anywhere else to go in Oakland. It's a crisis. This is a housing emergency.
Voters here in Oakland will get the chance to decide whether landlords who live in their own duplexes or triplexes should be allowed to evict renters without cause. That issue, known as Measure Y, is on the ballot next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you, Bigad. Now, if you have a story for Bigad or anyone on the investigative unit, call 888-996-TIPS or visit our website, NBCBayArea.com/investigation.